Good noon, world. It's coming at noon. Hope you guys enjoyed my show I made yesterday. So today I'll make a video, but tomorrow I'm not making a video. Obviously. Or I can make a video Sunday, then I don't make a video Monday, Tuesday, I make a video Wednesday. But yeah. They were opening the gifts. Yeah, you celebrate Christmas. Yeah, I celebrate Christmas, what? 2 days after you guys. Yeah. Yeah. What'd you eat? I ate breakfast sausage. Yeah. Yeah. Your book is sick. Oh my god, some masterpiece, man. Yeah. That's why the gatekeepers want to control it, obviously. Because they know I wrote a masterpiece. Yeah, that book Ivan wrote a masterpiece. Yeah, it is, man. It's the greatest fantasy ever written. This is money. Yeah. I don't know, you bluffing. Did you really write that? Yeah, I did, guys. I'm not lying. I wrote it. Well, I showed you, right? I wrote that with no help. Yeah. No AI help. I wrote on my own, obviously. So your book is so good. Yeah, my book is so good. Some fans might think I used AI to write it, but I didn't, man. That's how entertaining it is, obviously. Characters come alive on the page like a movie. It's so entertaining, the story. It's an amazing story. It blows your mind away. Yeah. They're all shocked, like, Ivan wrote this? Holy shit, man. Even the English teachers who taught me in school will be shocked that I wrote the book. Ivan wrote this book, man. Like, I taught this guy English. He wasn't that great of an English student in high school. And yet he wrote a book that put all these books that all these kids are reading in class to shame. Obviously, because I read Lord of the Flies. Lord of the Flies is a good book, but it's not as good as Xanus, right? Xanus is a better book than Lord of the Flies. Yeah. Yeah, better book than Outsiders. To Kill a Mockingbird I did not read in grade 11. because when I was in grade 11, I was in grade 10 English, obviously. But the other kids who were doing grade 11 English, I remember hearing them. They read like The Kill of Mockingbird or something like that in Darcy. Back in the day, right? Back like I don't know. So this is what 17 years ago now. Yeah. I'm sorry. Yeah, I remember hearing people saying, "Yeah, I read To Kill a Mockingbird in grade 11 English." Well, Xanus is better than that, man. Like To Kill a Mockingbird was a popular book series, very popular. Xanus is better than that. Lord of the Flies is also popular too. I read that in grade 10. Xanus is a better book than Lord of the Flies. That's why all the teachers will be shocked, obviously. Ivan wrote that? Holy shit, Ivan wrote that book? Yeah. That's better than all these books that these kids are reading in class, I know. You think kids will do projects on your book? No, I didn't sell to the gatekeepers, man. So they're not gonna what? They're not gonna do projects on my Mosaics, no. But I guarantee teachers will mention it behind the scenes. Yeah, if you want to learn how to write an amazing story, just read Ivan's book, man. That's a fucking masterpiece. That's better than all these books that like we're reading in class. Yeah, the better book than all these books you're reading in class. Man, it's a masterpiece of this, as you guys read, right? My stepmom told me it's number one, guys, for a reason. Number one. And Holly will be all over. Yeah, I mean, your book's number one. Holly would love this to be all over this story. I mean, she told me that. Hollywood would love this. And they'd be all over this, Ivan. You know, the way she said, she's like, Sally over my brand. Yeah, Ivan, that book's number one. Hollywood would love this. They'd be all over this. You know what I'm saying? The way she said it, yeah, she was salivating over my brand. Yeah. The gates are salivating over my brand because it's a masterpiece, man. They know it's money. Yeah, we want to control that, man. We want our Hollywood companies to control that brand. We don't want Ivan controlling it, but that money's mine. You're not touching it. You're not controlling it. That money's going to me, don't you understand? That's why money's not yours. Obviously, some are. The world will be shocked by your book. Yes, they will. As you guys read my book, you guys are obviously shocked. The world will be shocked by my story. It'll be a public embarrassment in the entertainment industry, obviously. That's how good Xanus is. It'll be a public embarrassment in the industry. Yeah, no books like Xanus. Xanus is a unique, special book. All these books you read are all regular. You don't get the same feeling like Xanus. Xanus, you get a different feeling. It's a masterpiece. Yeah. Because Ivan did everything himself, his book's a little bit raw. But it still put all these great books to shame. Yeah, it did. All the greats put it to shame, man. Xanus is a masterpiece, man. Emma. Emma. I can't believe Ivan wrote this, man. Ivan O'Mara wrote this. He wrote the last one for Xanus. Holy shit, man. This is the greatest book I ever read in my life, man. The greatest novel I ever read in my life, man. This is a powerful story. It's like bringing the Bible to life. this is the greatest story ever told. Ivan wrote this. Like, this is better than all these books I've read in my life. Yeah, Ivan put the greats to shame, like J.R.R. Tolkien and even the author for To Kill a Mockingbird. He put all these guys to shame. Yeah, I did. That book is special. It's unique, obviously. Number one, man. Because I have to have the gift, obviously, that you guys don't have, right? That's why my book is special, obviously. It's a unique, special book, you know. Yeah. It's so good, it will be publicly embarrassed me in the end range. You know how many guys I'm saying? And like all these fantasy nerds on Fantasy Reddit who love reading fantasy, once they read my book, every fantasy book that comes out's a letdown. Yeah, man, like after reading Ivan's book, I just don't get the same feeling with these other books coming out. They all feel regular and normal and not as entertaining. It's a letdown, obviously. Yeah, it's a good book, but it's not Xanus, man. Like, Ivan took me for a ride, man. These books don't take me for a ride the way Xanus did. Yeah, it's a letdown, obviously. That's how embarrassing it'll be, obviously, right here. Yeah, man. That's why the gates want to control it, obviously. They know it's a special, unique book, and I know it's blatant straight media. They want to take my money because they're greed pigs, obviously. Yeah. That's why PJ cries. She knows I did. She's duped into Hollywood, obviously. She's stupid. Yeah. She got duped into the Hollywood system. Yeah. Yeah, Ivan, I got duped. I want you to get me out. I got duped, Ivan. Actually got duped by the gatekeepers, PJ. I want you to get me out. I want a piece of your billions off your book, Ivan. I know you're 20 billion off your book. I want a piece of that. Yeah, she wants a piece of my 20 billion off my book. Yeah. Yeah. That's why Peter Jackson wants to get his hands on it. So yeah, he will. Yeah, when you read that book, anything you can imagine, obviously by Ethan, whatever his name is, Peter Jackson. Peter Jackson's ultimate dream was to make King Kong. Ever since he was a kid, he loved the original King Kong. That's why he made King Kong after Lord of the Rings, obviously, because Peter Jackson was shopping around the rights for Lord of the Rings. He also wanted to do King Kong, but eventually he forgot about King Kong and he focused on Lord of the Rings, obviously. But because Lord of the Rings is so successful, Universal ended up hiring Peter, and he ended up making his dream King Kong movie, which is pretty good, obviously. Yeah, like Peter Jackson's dream was making King Kong and obviously Lord of the Rings, and he pulled it off. He was able to get the rights. He was able to get New Line to make the movie. But his ultimate dream will be to direct the Xanus movie, obviously. That's my point, right? People tell me, yeah, even though my dream was making Lord of the Rings and King Kong, my bigger dream is directing your Xanus movie. As long as you're the star of the movie, obviously, right? Yeah, I mean, you being the star of the movie builds excitement and hype, and it's a dream project of mine. Like, you're playing the lead. Heck yeah, I want to direct this movie. I experienced that going fame with you and direct VJ, your wife, as Lithia. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's a dream passion project of mine, Ivan. And he also knows I'm willing to pay him a lot of money for it. Like a 1.6 billion deal Peter Jackson signed for the Xanus movie. It's a huge contract, obviously. I mean, how can I say $1 billion? I'm like, no, Peter, stop being greedy. 1.6 billion is not, stop being greedy. I'm just messing around. That's not money for me. Yeah, Peter, stop being greedy. Yeah. Mel, too, that's a passion project of his, too. I know Mel's dream project was making the Jesus movie, Passion of the Christ, but his ultimate dream is obviously directing the Xanus movie, obviously Mel Gibson. That's his ultimate dream. Yeah, I want to direct that Xanus movie, man. It's like bringing the Bible to life, Xanus. Pretty much right, yeah. Why you have biblical themes and symbolism in Xanus? Well, because I grew up a Christian. Before I knew I was God and I had the keys, I had a wife. I grew up in the faith. I grew up a Christian. Ever since I was a kid, a little kid, I've been going to church. I went to church for 17 years of my life straight. And after 17 years, I defected from the faith. No, I didn't. I backslid supposedly, right? Yeah, but I was still living a pretty good life, but I just didn't go to church anymore. That's the difference. After age 17, 2009, I stopped going to church. And ever since then, I went to church a few times since 2009, but I haven't really went to church over the past years. But I was still a good saint, and I stayed away from doing bad stuff. I went to strip clubs and everything, but I grew up in the faith, guys. As a Christian, believing in Jesus, I used to watch Sam Shamoon, ABN Sat, Jesus or Muhammad, and all that stuff, and all these debates, and that's why there is a bit of biblical influence and symbolism in Xanus when you read it. Because I grew up a Christian, obviously. That's why there is biblical themes in my book. Xanus is not a Bible story; it's its own fantasy, amazing story. But you're going to get some biblical symbolism when you read it, obviously. Like tactics from the northern half of the kingdom, he comes down to the cursed south, which is Aratat's kingdom, and he saves his southerners from the devil wolves. And he got to live with him in his heavenly kingdom, but not all of them make it to the north, to his heavenly kingdom. He gets the symbols there with Jesus too, obviously, right? You also get Moses symbolism. There's a huge exodus. Yeah. The 10th generation is a lucky generation, just like the generation of what? Well, when Jesus was born is a lucky generation too, obviously. In the Bible, right? Or the last day generation is a lucky generation. Yeah, that's what I mean right now. Amen. Are you gonna get 6 beers today, Ivan? Yeah, I will when I get my money for Christmas. I'll probably get a good 100, like 50, 40, $60 worth of money. So I'm gonna walk to the store and get 6 beers and a 25 pack of smokes. I get paid Tuesday. Next Tuesday I get paid. Yeah. And Wednesday I work, right? Tinties, right? 2 weeks off at Tinties. Next week I have to work. I need the money. And this with January I'll have like 900 saved around there. $850, $900 saved. And by March I'll have 1,000 plus saved in my savings. End of next year I'll probably have 4 or 5 grand saved. End of 2026. Going into 2027, I'll be turning 35, 34 now. Turning 35 next year. It's crazy how time flies by. I know. 6 years, guys, I'll be 40. Oh, that's crazy. I know. I missed out on so many things in my life. Yeah. Because even though I'm going to be partying up with VJ, everything, I'm partying up with VJ when I'm in my 40s, man. I missed out on so many things in my life. I never had a prom date or any of that stuff, but like once I was with VJ, I got to do all that with VJ, obviously. Go to clubs and when I pay the fee, I will experience all the stuff, all the moments that VJ experienced. Even though I want to pay that bullshit fee. But once I'm with VJ, I finally get to experience all that stuff, obviously. With her, right? Yeah. 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 How do you do that, man? That's not normal, man, your book. Yeah, guys, it's my father doing the magic. That's the only answer I can give you, obviously. My father's doing the magic. That's the answer, obviously, right? Duh. It's my father doing the magic through me, obviously. My father's doing the magic through me, obviously, right? Yeah. Yeah. All right, but seriously, what's your heart telling you, Mel Gibson or Peter? Mel Gibson. My heart's telling me Mel Gibson. My brain is telling me Peter. So I'm conflicted, obviously. Yeah. Like something tells me Mel's the guy, but I might regret choosing Mel because Mel's not a fancy guy. I should have chose Peter. And somebody tells me if I choose Peter, I'm gonna regret choosing Peter. I should have chose Mel. So that's why I'm gonna have them compete for the job. Ask them a series of questions about the book. I'm gonna tell their agents, yeah, make sure Mel Gibson and Peter Jackson study the book a little bit. So Ivan will be asking them questions about the story. Whoever gives the better answer, that's the director I hire, obviously. I'll have BJ help me out with the questions, honestly. We're gonna ask the two directors. and they're really gonna fight hard for the job. They want, yeah, I want to direct that movie so bad, and they want that contract, right? That mega contract. Yeah, Ivan's willing to pay you. Their agents are gonna tell me, yeah, Ivan's willing to pay you guys a lot of money, more than what you make in Hollywood, and give you all that power for the movie, man. Don't worry, guys. I'm gonna try my best to get you work. And their agents are gonna call my office, obviously, when it's open for business. And my secretaries will tell them, yeah, I didn't read you're interested in Mel Gibson, Peter Jackson as their chosen director, as their star director. And my secretaries will tell them, yeah, I read you will fly Mel Gibson and Peter Jackson in for questions. We're gonna ask them questions, obviously. And after you interview them, it doesn't hurt to take them out to dinner, Ivan. Obviously, oh my god, one of you guys are gonna be my star director for the movie. You're gonna see the documentary. They're all like, oh, I hope it's me, you know what I'm saying? And you part up with Mel and Peter in your house and you just fly them back home, obviously. In a good week, they'll get their agent will get the news. One will get the good news, the other will get the bad news, obviously. I choose Mel, I don't choose Peter, I choose Peter, I don't choose Mel, I don't know. It's a tough one, obviously. Some sour. Yeah. Yeah. You think some fans think you're crazy? Yeah, some fans say, Ivan, you're crazy, man. You like, why would you choose Mel over Peter? Peter is a fancy guy. He did Lord of the Rings, Ivan. I know what you're saying, guys. But Mel Gibson is good for historical drama, like Braveheart, Hacksaw Ridge. He's good for the biblical themes for my story. He's very good for the movie. I get what you're saying. Peter Jackson seems like the obvious choice because he did Lord of the Rings. He said, yeah, I mean, he's a fantasy guy. Yeah, he is. Peter Jackson's a fantasy director, obviously. So, he brought that world of Lord of the Rings to life. He's in a bigger world to life. I know, guys. I know. Because Peter Jackson, Mel Gibson, you're looking at two different movies. Obviously. Peter Jackson, the ideas he has for Xanus is obviously different than Mel Gibson's ideas. The question is, which director will make the better movie? That's the real question. Is it Mel Gibson's movie version that's better, or is Peter Jackson's movie version better? I don't know. We are writing the screenplay together, we're doing the concepts together, so we have the same vision. But when they direct, they obviously have their own vision, obviously. They have different ideas, Peter and Mel, obviously, right? Yeah. The question is, who will make the better movie? I don't know. That's why you gotta test their creativity, obviously. Yeah. I only have 3 smokes left. I'm saving it for this video. Now that I have to wait till we open the gifts, I have no money. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, Xanus tough to adapt. No, it's not. But there's certain things in the movie that are obviously are a bit difficult to pull off. Like the whole thing with the North and South being cursed. The North is the South is the North and South are veiled by this mist at the Blood Valley. And once you pass the myth from either side, you're in a different territory. That's a bit more difficult to portray on screen. That's why I'm putting $1 billion towards the movie for the world, that way they can pull it off. And the faces in the sky, they have to be able to pull that off too. That's a bit more difficult to pull off. That's why I'm putting a lot of money towards the world, that way we can afford to do all that, obviously, for the movie. He was like, yeah, even with a $1 million budget, we can easily afford to pull this off with the atmosphere being cursed and everything. Yeah, we can pull that off, Ivan. It's like, hey, Peter or Mel Gibson, I'm in the budget for the movie. Yeah. So there's a veiling, yeah, there's a mystic veil at the Blood Valley when you're about to enter the south from the north and the north and the south. See, there's a veil. I don't really talk about the veil in the book. All I say in the book is that the atmosphere changes, but in the movie, I'm gonna have a mystic veil, like that Chromecast picture I showed you. And once you pass the Blood Valley from the north, you're in the south, which is cursed, and vice versa. Pass the Blood Valley from the south, you're now in the north. The north is holy, it's beautiful. Two different kingdoms, obviously. Peter was like, yeah, Ivan. So you want two different kingdoms? Yeah, it's two different kingdoms, Peter. The sun sets faster in the south, it moves slower in the north. The moon sets slower in the north, it moves faster in the south, obviously. So you have two suns and two moons. You have a sun in the north, a sun in the south, a moon in the north, a moon in the south. Tell Peter that way. So you two kingdoms. Yeah, two kingdoms, Peter. Yeah. That's difficult to pull off. A little bit difficult to pull off on camera. That's why I'm putting a lot of money towards the movie for world building, for the extras, for the set building, for the battle scenes, for the horror, the emotes and battles. Yeah, I'm putting a lot of money towards the movie. I would pull it off, honestly. That's why $300 million was Zane's won't cut it. Gotta put a lot of money towards your movie, obviously. I won't cut it, right? Yeah. Yeah, and $1 billion is crazy towards the volume, each volume. I know, but the whole thing will get drained, man. All gonna get drained. Yeah. Peter's like, yeah, it's a huge budget item, but once shooting starts, the whole thing will get drained, Ivan. Like once you pay all the extras, that's like $160 million. You pay all the cast and crew, that's like $400+ million of your money all drained and gone. And building all the sets, $250 million towards the costumes, armor, machines for the masks, the whole thing will get drained, Ivan. And once you put your $600 million towards visual effects and special effects and editing, the special effects team are gonna burn all that money. Yeah, they're gonna burn everything, guys. The $600 million per volume, burn it all. Put it all towards the horror, the demons and bats, the world building, the crows, the eagles, the battle scenes, the world building. Burn it out, and they burn it all. The whole thing gets drained. I have like 100 million left, maybe around there, right? The hotel stays are gonna cost me tens of millions. 40 million maybe hotel stays. That's expensive too, man. Limo services, yeah, it's all the whole thing gets drained, man. Yeah, man. Yeah. What will burn most of the budget? the visual effects and special effects, that's the bulk of the money. The whole thing gets drained. Yeah, I might even have 200 million left over my budget. If I do, I'll put the rest. Yeah, Peter, if I have like 200 million left over the budget, we can put in another like 150 million towards special effects. Yeah, we could do that. Put an extra 50 million towards visual effects and special effects per volume. That way it's even better, a bit better, obviously. Drain majority of the money is going towards visual effects and special effects. That's what's draining the whole thing pretty much, right? Yeah, 600 million per volume. Yeah, it's a lot of money. But the visual effects team, are gonna burn the whole thing. Yeah, I'm gonna tell them, yeah, burn the whole $600, burn it all per volume. What do you want the bulk of it going towards? The horror of the demon wolves and bats and the crows, the battle scenes and the worldbuilding, and a bit of the extra fighting too. Obviously, okay, Ivan, and they burned the whole thing. Yeah. He was like, Ivan, once they add in all this money towards visual effects, you have no idea how cool your movie will look. This is looking at amazing battle scenes, amazing worldbuilding, and real horror. Ivan, looking at devils, Ivan, with this kind of money. This is true horror, I know. People tell me that. Mel Gibson will tell me that too. Yeah, Ivan, once the post-production team adds in all the visual effects and special effects, you're looking at something beautiful, Ivan, I know. Something more better than even Lord of the Rings, man. Better technology than Lord of the Rings. Yeah, better technology. Lord of the Rings looks a bit dated now when you watch it, because it was made in the early 2000s, but the movie doesn't look like it was made for $9 million. It looks like it was made for maybe $130, $40 million Lord of the Rings. Only made for $9 million back in the early 2000s, Lord of the Rings, right? Yeah. That's my point. Almost on it, guys. Yeah. Yeah. Alright, will they be able to pull off making tens of thousands of armor weapons? Oh yeah. For Lord of the Rings, I heard for Lord of the Rings they created like 40,000 around there. 40,000 armor and weapons or something like that, I heard. With that small budget. So with my budget they can easily, here's a guy, we can easily create like 50,000, 60,000 armored weapons on it. We can easily pull it off. Yeah, you have to give them like 2 years in advance to pull it off. They work 7 days a week for 2 years, they can pull it off, honestly. Yeah. For the movie, you have a 20,000 wolf army. They have to create weapons and armor for the 20,000 wolf army, and as well as Ereteth and all demonic characters. And you have a 12.5 thousand Zane army. They have to create armor for that. You want the armor light or heavy, Ivan? Have it light armor. That way you get better coordination with the fighting. I don't want heavy armor. I don't want Ereteth and the wolves wearing heavy armor like Lord of the Rings. Have them wear lighter armor. That way you get better fighting from them. In the book, Takis and them do flips and everything. In the movie, they're not doing any flips. Otherwise, it looks something like Star Wars. It won't be as good. It appears like, yeah, Ivan, don't do flips in the movie. Just have it general fighting, but it's advanced fighting, obviously. But they don't do flips in the movie, obviously. Otherwise, it'll be like Star Wars. It'll be a bit silly. But in the book, they do flips. Takis and Ereteth when they fight and everything. It's good for the book, but for the movie, it won't translate well. No flips in the movie. He was like, yeah, Ivan, don't do flips in the movie. That'll be a bit silly like Star Wars. Yeah, we're not going to do flips in the movie. Yeah. I'll have a good maybe 1,500 bats in the caverns. In the movie, there's a good like maybe 800 bats in the caverns, because the bats are kind of extinct. But in the movie, I might have maybe 1,500 bats living in the caverns. Obviously, a small little bat army in the caverns. And Eretat has a 20,000 army in the movie, and the Zanes have a 12.5 thousand army. So 20 plus 12.5 thousand, that's 32.5 thousand, and 1,500, that's like 34,000. Yeah, so the Wider Workshop has to create like 35,000 armor weapons, which they can pull off. In Lord of the Rings, they made about 40,000 armor and weapons around there, right? 30,000 around there. Yeah. You can pull it off. And you also have to create the costumes for the extras. Looking at about 60,000 extras in my movie. Yeah, they can pull it off, obviously. Peter's like, yeah, we can pull it off. Yeah, we can pull it off, Peter. I was like, we can pull it off. Yeah, we can pull it off. Sorry. And you also have to create costumes for the main characters. The minor characters and the main characters of the movie, too. Each character create a good maybe 5 different clothing for the movie. Around there, right? For the movie, obviously. Yeah, it's a lot of work. And because my budget's huge, I can create like updated armor, updated weapons even better than Lord of the Rings now. And my budget's so big, I put $250 towards it. He was like, yeah, if we could upgrade the armor, yeah, you can upgrade the armor and the weapons and the costumes and the mask with demonic characters, yeah. Somebody tells me Peter might push for full CGI. Ivan, man, like creating prosthetic masks for all these people is just too much work, Ivan. I'm like, Peter, I don't want full CGI Eretats. Like, otherwise you're gonna get the Azal look. I don't like that look, Peter, man. I know I'm doing, Peter. I'm the boss over here. You gotta listen to me, man. I don't want you having the army be full CGI. No, Peter. I don't like your Hobbit look. You're gonna get the Hobbit look if you have the what? The wolves and the bats full CGI. You're gonna get the Hobbit look, man. I don't like that look, Peter. I mean, you're right. Yeah, you're gonna like Eretat will be a devil, but you're gonna get the Azog look for the wolf army. It look computery. I don't like that look. No, I want it looking more natural, like the Ring Race Lord of the Rings. Except it doesn't look like Lord of the Rings. It's updated prosthetic mask. It's not cheap mask like your Lord of the Rings, Peter. It's updated like dubbing and animal. They look more real. And when you apply the visual words out, they're devils. They look a bit more natural. I don't want full CGI Eretat, Peter. Otherwise, you're going to get the Azog look for Eretat. That'd be Thanos look, right? They're formidable, but they look a bit computery, and you're going to get the Thanos Azog look. Those two computery, I don't like that look, Peter. Alright, if you have Peter have full CGI for your movie, or Mel Gibson, you're going to get the war like The Hobbit, and you're going to get that look of The Hobbit, obviously, for the wolves, man. It's going to ruin the story. Don't do that, man. Full CGI, no. I want the more prosthetic mask. I know Peter's into that stuff, but I'm going to be sure with Peter here. I don't want full CGI Eretat. I'm being serious, man. I don't want you ruining my story. I don't want him saying, yeah. Get some water, guys. I'll be back in a sec. Alright, guys. So I was just to get my water. That's the one thing you worry about Peter. Yeah, Peter loves CGI technology. As for the Hobbit, initially the goblins were what? They're people wearing the prosthetic masks and everything. And Peter decided to change it, and he went to full CGI. CGI makes them look very amazing, but it'll make them look a bit computer. You're gonna get the Hobbit look. Ivan, if you have Paris gonna be full CGI, you're gonna get a war like the Hobbit, man. Like, if you have a war like the Hobbit, Ivan, it's gonna ruin your movie, and your movie will not be better than Lord of the Rings. If you want something more like Helm's Deep, you have to have them look more natural. I know I'm doing. So it's better than Helm's Deep, right? Yeah. Peter, I did not like your Hobbit 3 war. It looked way too computery. I didn't like that. I don't like that look. That's why I don't want full CGI haircut. I'm gonna be strict with Peter or Mel Gibson. I want the actor wearing a prosthetic mask, except it's an updated mask, even better than even the Delving and Annabelle and your Orcs Lord of the Rings. It's updated, like top-notch, unheard of mask designs. And you apply visuals towards Ivan, yeah, and they look more natural. They also look amazing. I know what I'm doing. They look more like the ring race in your Fellowship Ring, except scary better than that, obviously. Some Sarah. Yeah. And if you don't want a computer world, Ivan, you gotta build big sets. And you apply the special effects awards that the world looks more amazing, looks more natural. Whereas if you just build a small little set and you have blue screen, green screen, you're gonna get something like Lake Town. Lake Town looked amazing in The Hobbit, but it looked a bit computer because The Hobbit they relied heavily on full CGI for everything. And if you have digital film cameras, Ivan, you're gonna get The Hobbit look too. I want film ones, Peter, not digital. Yeah, Ivan, as you're saying, yeah, I want film ones, not digital. The way the world looks more natural, I know what I'm doing. But the world will look amazing, but it will have more of that natural feel instead of that full CGI computer look feel. Right, Sarah? You have to tell people that Ivan and Mel Gibson what they know. I don't want full CGI world with full CGI characters. No, only the crows and eagles are full CGI. The mosquitoes, the jaguars, they can be full CGI. The stags, they can be full CGI, obviously. But like the demonic characters, I don't want the full CGI guys. Peter might push for full CGI hair tad. We can just have the actor wear the motion capture knowledge. I'm like, no, Peter, don't do that. No. I want the actor wearing the mask to caution me. He's actually acting on the scenes with the mask and the caution. I know doing that way, you get better acting from the actors. And Airtime looks more natural. It doesn't look too computery. Yeah. Ivan, trust me, I know CG. Yeah, he's a guy, but CGI it makes everything, it fixes all our problems, Ivan. It makes everything so much easier for us. Like, we don't have to create all these prosthetic masks. I know, Peter, but if you have full CGI, you're going to ruin the movie, man. The movie won't be as good. You're going to get something like your Hobbit, like your Hobbit movie, Peter. Ivan, that's amazing. Yeah, Peter, I compare your Orcs and Lord of the Rings and the Hobbit. I see a huge difference. The Orcs and Lord of the Rings are by far superior than your Hobbit Orcs. Your Hobbit Orcs just look too computery. I don't like that look, Peter. But the Orcs and Lord of the Rings also look way too natural. That's why I'm going to be creating better prosthetic masks for demonic characters. Yeah. Like the mask that the demonic heroes are wearing in my movie is not like Peter Jackson. No, it's updated. It's like the devil being an animal, except better than that. Because I'm putting two to me also words all that. I'm going to update the armor and the weapons to make it look better for the movie because I'm putting a lot of money towards all that. Got some Sarah. Yeah. Here's Ivan. I see. Okay. You don't have full CGI airs. I'm like, no, Peter. It's okay, Ivan. I'm just saying that it's going to be a lot of work for the team, Ivan. Like, create those thousands of armor and masks and everything. Yeah, Peter, we can pull it off in like 2 years. Yeah, it's enough time. It's just more work for them. Yeah, Peter, but I know what I'm doing. You're gonna get a better look for the demonic characters. They don't look too computery like your Hobbit Orcs in the Hobbit, Peter. I do not like the look of Azog in your Hobbit movie, Peter. He looks way too computery. I don't like that look. And the world's too computery too. That's why I don't want digital cameras. I want film, and I don't want to build small little sets and rely on blue screen. No, we're gonna build big sets. Like where the world looks better, it looks more natural, more real. Like your Lord of the Rings, like Helm's Deep and Minas Tirith looks more natural, like that. Doesn't look too computery like Lake Town in your Hobbit movies. I'm sorry. Yeah, because even though Lake Town looks beautiful in The Hobbit, even then it still looks a bit too computery because they relied heavily on full CGI for The Hobbit. Looks way too computery, man. I don't like that look, man. And then, sorry. Take a shower after this. I'll enjoy showing you guys. Yeah. But Mel Gibson, I don't think is into full CGI. Mel Gibson's the kind of guy who don't know. I agree with you saying I don't want full CGI here. So I want to look more natural. Yeah, that's better that way. Yeah. I'm sorry. Whereas Peter Jackson, he's into the CGI. He loves CGI Peter. That's how I'm gonna be strict with him. I don't want full CGI Peter. I'm gonna be strict with Peter Jackson, obviously. Yeah, listen, I'm the boss over you, right? Yeah. I don't know. Are you worried about Mel Gibson or Peter Jackson being lost in their scenes? No, because they're going to be taking their notes. That's why I need them to take notes. That way they're not lost in their scenes. Obviously, you need to have them prepped. Obviously. That's why I'm going to have Mel Gibson or Peter, whoever I choose. Every time you work on the screenplay, when you go back, you'll tell them the first thing you got to do is take your notes for what you wrote down that day. And you get the rest of the day off. You have to listen to me. You have to take your notes, guys. That way, when production happens, you study your notes. That way, when production happens, you're prepped. Yeah. Take notes with your assistant director, whoever I choose. That way, when production starts, you're prepped, and you don't wing it, man. You're prepped for you wrote the screenplay together. We have the same vision. We did the concepts together. You took your notes. You studied your notes for the past couple of years, and now when production starts, you're prepped. You know what you know. You have an idea of what you want to do for all your scenes, and you're not lost like Peter was in The Hobbit. Because Peter winged it for The Hobbit because New Line didn't give him that much time to work on the movie. They gave him, I heard, like 5-6 months to prep for the movie. So Peter had to wing it, obviously, for The Hobbit. That's why he was lost. Eventually, his winging Hobbit, and Peter had to stop production. He had to think things through, obviously, because he was winging it. He was lost, obviously, Peter. He didn't know what he was doing. He winged it, yeah. But for someone who winged it, he did a good job. As the Hobbit movies are pretty good movies. The first two are pretty good movies. But the third one, Peter Jackson's winging it caught up to him. As the third Hobbit movie is not that good, honestly. Battle of Armies is not that good of a movie. It's the worst one of the three, right? In my opinion. Most action, but I mean, it's the least interesting. It's not as good as the other ones, honestly. Yeah, because Peter Jackson's winging caught up to him, honestly. I don't want you winging it for my movie, man. You guys gotta be prepped. You gotta take your notes. As long as you take your notes, the directors will not be lost, Ivan. They're gonna be prepped. They'll know, have an idea for every single scene. And the unit teams are going to be helping them out too, obviously, with the big scenes and all that stuff. So, yeah, as long as they take their notes, we write the screenplay together, we do the concept together, we have the same vision. I don't have to worry about the directors being lost, Peter Jackson or Gibson being lost or winging for my movie. Guys and Sarah. Yeah. That's my point. That's why it has to be the greatest fans ever written, the greatest one you ever made. It was guys, on the show. Happy holidays, guys, and happy New Year's. I'm Ram signing out. Peace. I'm gonna enjoy showing you guys a couple of my smokes. And eventually, I'm gonna open my gifts. Probably, I don't know, in the evening, and I'll get my 6 beers, 25 pack of smokes, and I'll probably make one more video or I'll watch more movies. I don't know. See what happens. I'm Ram signing out. Peace. Happy holidays, guys. Happy New Year's. I'm Hames, and peace out, guys.